Hello everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome to my video. Today I want to talk about Total War Warhammer. So I've been playing this game now for, that's probably quite a little bit too loud. I've been playing this game for roughly 26 hours now on Steam. I'm a decent way through an Empire campaign as well as a Vampire campaign. I haven't played or fought many multiplayer battles as of yet, and I haven't tried out any mods either. So bear that in mind when I talk about aspects of the game that you might be interested in if you're thinking about buying it. So a couple of things to note. I am actually, well, I have virtually no interest as playing as Chaos. So I don't know whether that's for you. I don't much like the Horde style of gameplay generally in Total Wars. I've tried to do it before on Attila and Rome, the original Rome in fact, but yeah, I don't know, just never grabbed me. So put that point out there. Well, I've played 26 hours of the game, just over a week removed from its release, which is not bad. It's pretty good in terms of the amount of time it's attracted me to it. I've been mostly recording, actually. I think pretty much almost all of those 26 hours are in videos that I have recorded for each of my two factions that I've been doing. And I've been doing fairly well. I've had a degree of success, but also I've had some really unfortunate situations at times. I mean, it does happen sometimes. You know, an army will press quite hard on you and all this sort of stuff. As you know, that's Total War, and Warhammer is no different. It takes a lot of the same mechanics from Rome 2, Attila, as you would expect, and sort of melts it into the Warhammer license. So you get all these amazing fantasy troops. That is probably one of the biggest things I love about it, is that you've got all these troops like Vargeists, Terrorgeists. This might not mean too much to you. And Vargeist is sort of like, I believe, I mean I could be wrong, but it looks a bit like a cross between a bat and a gargoyle. But, you know, a giant bat and gargoyle. And a Terrorgeist, I suppose, is sort of like, not quite, it's not a dragon. I'm not sure what it's actually meant to be in the lore, but it's almost like a undead dragon of sorts, even though you can get a zombie dragon as a mount for one of the legendary lords, which I've not got yet, but that looks pretty cool from what I've seen of it as well. But I think they are different things. I don't think a Terrorgeist is actually a dragon, but you know, whatever. It's things like this. I've got, you know, Demigriff Knights, Demigriffin, Shock Cavalry, absolutely tear it up. The cavalry charges in it are way over the top and amazing. They're just really aesthetically pleasing to watch. A load of cavalry charge into a load of zombies or dwarves or whatever it happens to be, because it just sends them flying through the ranks. So, you know, you really feel like they pack a punch when they charge in. I would say it's quite similar, but more exaggerated, but more like a Shogun 2, if you played that, which I really enjoyed the battles on that, apart from the fact that there wasn't a diversity of units. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about Shogun 2, I'm here to talk about Warhammer. Gonna go for some bad things now, I'm afraid. Don't hate me. I don't like the fact that the game seems to have almost totally eradicated any sort of economic decisions or trees or technologies out of the game. It is extremely small. Even with the Empire, you are extremely limited as to what sort of income buildings you can generate, how much income you can generate from those buildings, etc, etc. So I sort of feel like the campaign has maybe lost a little bit of a dynamic, but it is to force you to fight more battles, to be more aggressive, to make sure you are spending more time on the battlefield potentially than the campaign map, which I suppose it sort of fits in with the IP, you know, the Warhammer thing, but I feel like they've diluted Total War down a little bit in that respect. So I'm not going to totally shun it for that. I'm not going to say don't go out and buy it. I just want to make people aware that there is a loss of more of its complexities, unfortunately. Even just little things like being able to change the tax rate. You either tax them or you don't. I mean, I feel like we already lost quite a bit of things from Rome 2 that we had in previous iterations of Total War, and this has diluted it down even further. Hopefully they'll go back to a more fleshed out campaign, whatever they decide to do next. I would like to see, if they're going to do fantasy, obviously I would love to see a official Lord of the Rings Total War, but I don't know if that's even possible, or if that will be done, or what. But yeah, anyway, I'm digressing. So, should you buy the game? I think if you are a big fan of Total War, then you've probably already got it, to be honest. But if you are on the fence, I would say go for it. A lot of the stuff in the battles are refreshing and simplified. I want to stress that it is a lot more simplified, feels a lot more simplified in terms of the options. I don't know whether it's just all hidden behind shortcuts now. I actually haven't delved into it too much. I've been just trying to make do with what I've used previously. But the fact that it's lost a little bit of its complexity is a bit of a shame. And even though, despite that, I would still buy it. I think that there's a lot of different units, gameplay, styles, tactics you can employ just purely by the diversity of the units. For example, having flying units is something totally different to what we've seen in the base Total War games. I know there are some mods that have done it previously in the past, and done fairly well, really, to be honest. But now we actually see it being officially done, officially supported, allowing you these different ways of going about fighting your battle. So for that and that alone, it's worth it, along with obviously the fantasy setting. So yeah, go out and buy it. It's not a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, or it's probably more along the lines of a 7. I meant to say 8 out of 10. Probably a low 8 out of 10. I don't know how you get a low 8, because 8 is 8. But yeah, I mean, I suppose comparatively speaking, I would give Attila and Rome 2 an 8. So it's at least as good as them. Shogun 2 probably gets a 9 for me. Personally, I really like the multiplayer in Shogun as well. I just feel like the way they did that added an extra dimension to the game that we hadn't really seen before, and we've not seen since either. I mean, I would have thought the Warhammer would be a really good time to implement something like the Avatar Conquest again. But anyway, they've not done that. So all that remains to be seen now is what sort of DLC comes out. Mainly the free DLC. I'd love to see Britannia as a faction to play in the campaign. I know that there is a mod that unlocks them, but to actually properly play as them with the story and legendary lores and everything else all fleshed out a bit more. But for that to happen, they do need to have their roster bulked out a bit. I mean, they've got a really small number of troops, and they've not got a huge amount of things that give them a distinct advantage over, well, the Empire, really. I suppose they're the most similar in terms of style. But yeah, we'll have to see what Creative Assembly do with it in that front. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed the video, and yeah, I don't know if I've helped make your decision or made it more difficult. One thing I do want to say, though, and this is still the case as of the 1st of June 2016, we don't have any NVIDIA drivers yet for Total War Warhammer, which is a bit of a disappointment. I'd have thought just over a week after release we'd have some proper drivers, get a bit more out of the performance, hopefully. But no, we don't. I have had a few graphical issues, but they've managed to be sorted out pretty easy. Basically just a case of either putting the game in windowed mode and or turning VSync on and off and going in windowed mode, then out of window mode again. Don't know what it is. I presume it will probably be fixed by the driver. And the frame rates have been pretty good. It runs roughly about the same as Attila when that came out. So with a little bit, if you could put more patches, it'll be about there, I reckon. It's pretty good as is right now. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all very soon.